right-wingers have gone full censorship in the school system as they have ramped up their attacks and bans on books that they deem to be offensive. Now, you're going to find that there's a little bit of a theme to the kind of books that they've decided to ban. Now, on Saturday, his first day in office, new Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin had signed an executive order, among many others, to ban the teaching of divisive concepts in the schools. Now, what divisive concept? Well, it turns out the concept that is so divisive and that was noted in this executive action specifically bans the teaching of critical race theory, which of course is centered around the idea that American society is presently impacted by the legacy of slavery and how that legacy factors into current U.S. law and policies. So now, for example, you have, the drug war, you have mass incarceration, the cultural legacy of discriminating against black natural hairstyles, unless a white person, of course, does it, then it's totally fine, right? By our culture. And redlining, of course, or at least the legacy of redlining, failing inner city schools that are underfunded or barely funded at all because of the way that they're funded with property taxes. You have health and wealth disparities, etc. Now, it seems like maybe people on the right don't seem to want white kids to know about those things, because God forbid they might actually try to do something about it. I know, right? So they've been on a tear trying to ban these books from black authors in schools. In fact, I've got a few examples of it. So now earlier this year, black children's author and illustrator Jerry Craft was notified that his book was being pulled from schools in Katy, Texas. Now, in October, the Independent School District of Katy in the state of Texas temporarily banned 2 of Craft's books, which tell the stories of black boys who experienced racism in schools. Now, they even postponed his virtual visit, because, oh man, these books, they're just so divisive. You are making white children feel terrible about themselves by educating them about racism. Hey, you know what that sounds like? A petition, for example, with more than 400 signatures by parents calling for Craft's visit to be canceled. You know what that sounds like? Cancel culture. Yeah, weird. So now Craft wrote in response to a parent confused about why he was banned. He said, apparently I'm teaching critical race theory. Huh. Well, that's weird. So now that's not critical race theory. Critical race theory is, of course, a college level course. But yet Craft is among dozens of black authors whose works are being pulled from school libraries under the pretext that they are teaching critical race theory. Now, most of those books are not teaching critical race theory, but are written by by authors who are people of color, and they're about people of color. In fact, the American Library Association said its Office for Intellectual Freedom had reported that 273 books were affected by censorship attempts in 2020 alone. Many with content that highlighted race, gender, and sexuality. Since September alone, there have been at least 230 challenges, the organization said in an email to NBC News. Another example of these target bans is Kaylin Bayron, whose book Cinderella is Dead is about a black queer girl. Mickey Kendall, whose book Hood Feminism, which highlights the issues facing women of color, has also been the target of conservative censorship. She called the bans a, quote, ridiculous publicity stunt, and says it is spreading, and all it's going to do is undermine education for the kids who are not lucky enough, not risk-seeking enough, not prepared enough to seek out the information on their own. Tiffany D. Jackson, the author of the 2018 novel Monday's Not Coming, has been widely criticized by conservative parents who are saying, oh my God, these themes are so overly sexual. I can't believe that you would ever have any of this in a school library. So now her book is about missing girls of color. Now Jackson, who is black, said the book discusses friendship, dyslexia, community, healing, and mentions, of course, sex. Oh no, keep it out of the school. How terrible. Now the book from Jason Reynolds, who co-wrote All American Boys, which is actually among the ALA's most commonly banned book, tells the story of two teenage boys, Rashad and Quinn, as they handle racism and police brutality in their community. Y'all seeing the theme here? You know, it's just banning the books that have anything to do with race and any mentions of sex, anything. No, but see, here's the thing. Now, these conservatives are claiming they're protecting students from traumatizing material. You're going to traumatize them by teaching about things, and you're going to make them feel bad for being white. When in reality, more than half of all the book challenges in the U.S. are initiated by parents and patrons. You know how many of the students complain? Less than 1%. Less than 1% of students are complaining about these books, making them feel bad. But it's mostly parents. It's almost as if the reason behind all this censorship is that these parents are racist. And they don't want their kids to get these crazy newfangled ideas about racial equality. Oh, God, no. No, we hate it. I mean, how terrible would that be, right? If they actually learned about racism and wanted to do something about it. Next, they'd be out talking about doing reparations. Oh, we can't have that. They might even bring a black person home. Oh, God, no. Could you imagine? Oh, no. Now, Reynolds said this. He said, I've never met a young person that has been afraid to read my work. And added that opponents are doing everything they can to shield young people from the things that scare them, not the things that scare the children. And I think that's very, very important to point out. I mean, that really kind of nails it on the head. All right? I mean, why else would they go through that much effort to stop the kids from learning about these themes, racism, right? Well, it's because these same people are the ones who perpetuate racism to this day and do not want any of these things to change. They think everything's fine the way it is. It's working out just fine for them. They don't have to think about it. They don't have to see black people. They don't care about black people. And that's it. They don't want this to change. And they have allies in Donald Trump, Glenn Youngkin, and all the other people who constantly rail against critical race theory. And by the way, they have been winning in these school boards across the country that have been taken over. So now, again, numerous stories of conservative commentators that will, Matt Walsh, they'll bring up things, they'll basically talk about these school districts and claim that they have instituted critical race theory. Oh, can you believe that what they're doing? The school boards, you need to call these school boards. And a lot of these school boards, again, will be inundated from calls from angry conservative listeners who will not only rage, they'll also leave harassing emails, phone calls, they'll send death threats, rape threats if it's a woman, or if it's a female, and so that's what they'll do. And they've actually forced a lot of these school board members to quit, to which then conservatives run and replace them. And they're taking over the school boards, and they're taking over the local governments, and that's what they're doing. And they're instituting this broad agenda of censorship when it comes to racism, when it comes to blackness. And so they're trying to desperately hide the ugly truth about this country and to prevent us from actually taking steps to remedy that ugly truth and that ugly past of racism and discrimination.